And it's slowly reverting.
Yeah.
Sucks. Okay, there we go. Now it's not that bad.
Okay, I'll ask in 16.
Yeah. Oh, neighbor comes off.
Good. Oh, I can have that power.
Okay, the clock on the wall says 6 o'clock, so we want to go ahead and get going and begin the February 14th, 2022 City Council meeting. And we'll begin with a roll call.
Walters.
Here.
Dvorak.
Here.
Anderson.
Here.
Vogel. Here. Sarchet.
Here.
Next item is approval of agenda. I'll take a motion, please.
So moved. Second.
And we'll have roll.
Dvorak.
Yes.
Anderson.
Yes.
Vogel.
Yes.
Sarchet.
Yes.
Walters.
Motion approved. Item number 4 is our swear-in ceremony, and it looks like I come down first, and then Jeff and Mandy come down too.
Or do you want to hold it?
This.
Nope, you have to put your hand on that. And you gotta say that.
Okay. So I, Steve Karsten, do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Iowa, and I will faithfully and impartially, to the best of my ability, discharge all of the duties of the office of mayor for the city of Polk City, Iowa, as now or hereafter required by law.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. So then, I wanted to honor the swearing in our city council members. So we can go left to right, I guess, or right to left. I don't care. Maybe you can both come down and go. Sounds good.
All right.
Go ahead.
Just read this now. Okay. I, Mandy Vogel, do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Iowa, and I will faithfully and impartially, to the best of my ability, discharge all of the duties of the office of City Council for the city of Polk City, Iowa, as now or hereafter required by law.
Congratulations. Look forward to working. Thanks, Jim.
I, Jeff Walters, do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Iowa, and I will faithfully and impartially, to the best of my ability, discharge all the duties of the office of City Council for the city of Polk City, Iowa, as now or hereafter required by law.
Congratulations.
Thank
Look
you.
forward to working with you. I want to do like Dave and walk into this plexiglass thing. Okay, so we will then move on to item number 5 on the agenda, which is a public hearing. It's time to close the regular meeting and open the public hearing on the proposed rezoning petition for Larson Homes LLC for the Liliskow property. So when was the notice published?
February 4th?
Have we had any written comments for or against the proposed rezoning?
No, sir.
At this time, I would like to request staff to provide a report.
Go ahead.
Well, actually, Roger Silver here is here representing the developer. So. First.
Hey, good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of council. I was here before you a couple years ago. Better time. We did the rezoning for, at the time, the Snetzelar Liliskow property. Andy Snetzelar and mom, Genevieve Liliskow. We rezoned to primarily residential with a little bit of R2A and commercial in this area. The This is the original concept plan that we had presented along with that rezoning to explain our intentions. The ground has since transferred hands, at least the site has been purchased, and the developer is now going to John Larson, Dean Quirk. So they have some different ideas, and one of their ideas is that they'd like to start the development coming in off 44th, this road. But because of the narrow strip of zoning to get as much commercial as possible, the proposed zoning is basically to leave the commercial size as it is, to move this road down so that we can get 2 rows of townhomes on it, and leave an access point for commercial. So I will show you what that revised concept looks like. So again, this line of the commercial has not changed. All we've done is move the access road out a little further south. And so the primary zoning we're talking about is rezoning some of what was R1 down in here to R2A. So that's the bulk of what you see if you look at the map of this area. And then there's a little bit of land swap going on right here. We've taken a little bit of commercial triangle away, and we've added it back down in here so the commercial size is exactly the same acreage. And this does still provide access into the commercial piece from that road, provides the developer a lot more palatable double-sided development for his phase, which would include this strip and then a portion of the single family that we're working out as we are working on it. I'd be happy to answer any more questions. That's the summary.
Do we have any other R2A in Polk City?
I'd have to look. I mean, to be honest, I mean, the strip that was there was already zoned R2A, so they're making a tiny change. I would have to honestly look. R2A is basically townhomes type zoning, so it doesn't allow for apartment complexes.
It's Lakewood,
Oh, okay.
right?
No, Lakewood is PUD.
It's the same concept.
Yeah, but it essentially allows for by-attached stuff. No, I'm not 100% sure. I can't think of anything right off the top of my head where we've got it.
But functionally, it's.
Functionally, it's like that, or like the Ledgestone. Again, Ledgestone you did as a PUD as well, Ledgestone Ridge Townhomes. So it's a similar thing to that, but those could have been probably accomplished in the R2A.
Well, I was just wondering if there's something that we could compare it to, see what it looks like. So
Yeah,
maybe
those would be
somewhere.
comparable what they look like. I mean, it's essentially by-attached townhomes. So both Ledgestone and Lakewood, even though they're zone PUD, are a similar appearance and product. Just keep in mind, I mean, at this point in time, staff has really just reviewed the rezoning. We're working through a number of issues related to the preliminary platting, so we don't have a full review of the concept in front of because we're, like I said, we're providing some feedback on comments, but it's not ready to be brought forward at all.
Yeah, but I think your point on not, the R2A doesn't go as far as apartment buildings.
Correct. Yeah, it does, yeah.
If I may, this concept actually shows by-attached units were from John Larson, who said this is what I intend to do. And looking at some of the comments from the previous submittals, we realized, and talking with Kathleen and Chelsea, we're going to have to share driveways. While you see one driveway, consider by-attached. So these, whereas these were just kind of some placeholders previously, these are what he actually intends, and our current preliminary plat has these going to single-family lots of cities. He's actually to get away from, to back off to single-family, smaller single-family strip.
Yeah, just in terms of spacing, the city code does require anytime that that you have by-attached off of a public street, which is this would be, then the driveway spacing has to be the same as if it was an 80-foot wide single-family residential. So that does kind of drive density and spread it out, and it limits the driveway, provides areas that, for snow storage, for snow removal purposes, that kind of thing.
Oh, if I'm understanding what you just said, it's not going to increase density.
new, you know. And I mean, they'll add a little bit more on the one section there because overall it might balance out because they were proposing on the original concept.
Yeah, just one side, I know that.
No, but I mean, south of that, they were proposing 9 lots. Now it's more like 2 lots. So there's a decrease in density there. I don't know if it's enough to make up the difference, but.
So for me, this one's kind of tough because I'm in favor of the concept that we're seeing here. It makes sense. The progression makes sense too. As we talked about for whoever was involved a year and a half ago or whatever, we went through how many iterations of this property, keeping the commercial both in amount and proximity to the road there is important. I think this does that. The rest of it, it looks intriguing. Obviously, you know, get past the rezone, get through that. So was this on the January P&Z meeting? I don't think that was the one where we had audio problems. Were there
Yep.
were there people, were there neighbors that came out for that one?
No.
Okay. So they same notices as before.
Yes.
Everybody that is in the vicinity. Okay. That's it.
Yeah, you might want to, do you have the maps that shows actually, because really they're just rezoning
Yeah, so it's
3
not
small
quite the
pieces in the
same.
center.
Notices. Because
Okay.
we're not dealing with the entire property,
Yeah.
we were just dealing with this, so really the radius is quite a bit smaller, so.
Right.
Notice-wise, it probably wasn't, for instance, this was just a little chunk that's changing from R2A to commercial,
Okay.
so we could get.
And so that's a good point. And I don't bring that up to necessarily debate the particulars. I do worry about, I know that there was a lot of feedback, some of it crazy, quite honestly. But it's hard, even for me, sitting up here to keep track of the different versions. And then ultimately, boom, something happens and you thought it was, you know, version 4 and we're getting version 8 or whatever. So, if there's some extra communication that we can do, not necessarily going back, but going forward, you know, especially with the sale and changing hands, the conversations that were had by Andy are,
We're targeting a March 23rd submittal of preliminary plat.
okay,
So you guys we're getting close. These were just some cleanup pieces. You know, that was an important piece for this phase 1 to try to be able to say, I need to double load that road before I build the street and I can only do one side. And so we've tried to make compromise by sliding that down, keep this commercial the same, still providing access. But yeah, we realize that there's a lot more to be discussed here, and we are working on a preliminary plat that we should submit targeting March 23rd, so a couple months here to see the whole plan laid out.
Sure.
The last plan did not get through to the preliminary plat stage,
Yeah.
so there was never a preliminary plat brought through for that first concept.
you know, as well as I do, even though, I mean, you're using old maps here that weren't necessarily approved, that's what people gravitate towards. And we're talking about a little over 4 acres out of 92. So it's a small percent. I want people to have been aware in a timely way to be able to talk about some of this stuff. Crazy as some of them are, if they come out again like they did before, but that's the process. And again, our history isn't your problem, nor is the churning of this, you know, particularly problematic, because I think this makes sense in a lot of instances. I don't want there to be surprises. So yeah, I think it looks good. I had one quick question. Lost it. So I know this is ahead of the game, but his, do you know the number of residential units you're planning for?
As a
compared-
entire piece,
Yeah.
or just along that?
Well, both, if you.
Right
know
now,
off top of
the
your head.
last count I did, including the by-attached unit, 176, which is actually lower than what I had on the previous concept.
Okay, and that's where I was going. Do you remember what that number was? I know I'm putting you on the spot here.
But I'm going to show you the main reason, because otherwise. Everything west of R2A strip hasn't changed. The biggest reason, as Kathleen said, we've added 1, 2, 3, so 18 units, right?
Yep.
But we've taken 7 away from here, because that was a 9, and now it's gonna be at most 2. And then these, which you can count, are all doubles, so there's maybe 25, 30 units in there. Those are gonna become single families. So this has gotten a lot, we've lost a
Yep.
lot. So, otherwise, everything you see in here is about the same, and we're looking at some options up in this area. But our last count was 176, and previously might have been up around 2.
Okay.
That was,
So again, I know we're getting ahead and I'm putting you on the spot. Nice work, by the way, for answering those. Unfair as some of the questions might have been, but I do think that's an important note as part of this. So the western 2/3, I think looks great, and
yeah, I mean, the little scale, the line between Genevieve's land and Andy's land, basically.
okay.
We haven't proposed a single difference to the rezone. There's gonna be some differences you see between the Plymouth Plat concept. All of what we're doing is focusing for now just on this little cleanup item, provide him a more palatable double side.
Yep.
Without losing your commercial side.
Which again was the crux of the debate before, and I think as a buffer that makes sense. Again, the western 2/3 I think fits part and parcel with everything that's around there. So I think it looks good. Thank you.
Somebody help my memory here. Is this the first concept we've seen for this area, or we okayed a concept already?
You saw this concept, but never okayed it when the rezoning went
We
through.
never voted on it.
This was presented
think so.
just as
Approve the
a
rezone.
We approved,
exhibit
yeah.
along with rezoning, so you could
Yeah.
have a better.
We didn't accept that one either, correct? No.
No, it wasn't ready.
But we went through a couple different concepts, and I know we went to P&Z 2 or 3 times over the past 3 years, and that's right. So the only thing that was previously approved was the rezoning, no plats, no.
Right. Yeah, I mean, since they're not going to a PUD, you're not required to approve a master plan the same way you would, like you did with Crossroads, for example. So they presented that kind of as justification for why the zoning lines were drawn the way they were, but it wasn't approved yet. There's, like I said, there's a number of issues to be worked out.
Well, my biggest issue probably is the fact that we're experiencing growing pains right now. We all know that, it's happening, and anything that increases density is only gonna increase those growing pains in my book.
Yeah, and again, conceptually, we weren't all the way through this, but this is a less dense development in totality than the previous concepts, even not approved as they were, so.
So we're moving in the right direction, it seems. I mean, this specific one is a few more units here, but I think on the previous one, you could see lines drawn in for those other lots to the south of it. And even though it's not drawn in there because you're still finalizing concepts, but the knowledge that those pieces next to the commercial there are going to go to less density.
It really just said, have to continue to work. Like we have some cleanup. When we have a slight result, as this aligns, finalize the south side connection. Just a little cleanup. Yes, there's a change. We do have access from the commercial to the south as well as south side. There's a couple.
Well, it's been my experience whenever anybody comes in and asks for rezoning, it's to get more house, not less.
Any other comments from council?
I'll make a motion to
Hold
approve.
on just a second. So I've got to ask Jenny if there's anyone present on the phone or in the audience who wishes to be heard for or against the proposed rezoning.
Not on the phone. I don't see
Okay.
anyone here.
So now I need a motion to close the public hearing and reopen the regular meeting.
So moved. Second.
And we'll call the roll.
Dvorak,
Yes.
Anderson,
Yes.
Vogel.
Yes.
Sarchet.
Yes.
Walters.
Yes.
Okay, great. Moving on to item number 6, public comments. This is the,
Nope.
First
Now-
reading of the ordinance.
oh, you're right. We do need to have a motion on the first reading of ordinance 2022-1200. Can I have a motion?
So moved.
A second.
Second.
And call the roll, please.
Sarchet.
Yes.
Walters.
Yes.
Dvorak.
Yes.
Anderson.
No.
Vogel.
Yes.
Okay, so now we'll move on to item number 6, the public comment time, the time and place for comments for any item other than those that are a public hearing. Do we have anyone wishing to speak?
No one.
Nobody on the phone. Okay, great. So let's move on to item number 7 then, the consent items, and I'll take a motion,
So moved.
Second.
and we'll call the roll.
Walters.
Yes.
Dvorak.
Yes.
Anderson.
Yes.
Vogel.
Yes.
Sarchet.
Maybe I should sustain.
Motion carries. So moving on to number 8, business items. A, first reading of ordinance 2022-1100, amending Polk City Code of Ordinances, Chapter 155, Section 155.09, fire codes. I'll take a motion on that.
So moved.
Second.
And call the roll, please, Jenny.
So, just a second, just a point of clarification. So, these are amended requirements. Some of these from past developments that we've identified that are just different than surrounding communities, or what's the why here?
Yes, but this is an ordinance you guys adopted previously that did not get codified. So these rules and regulations were in place before we codified, and then it was left out of the codification.
By mistake.
By mistake, and we cannot enforce them until the council readopts.
Okay, so substantively, we don't have changes here, we just have
Correct.
cross of Ts.
Yes.
So we'll call the roll, please.
Dvorak.
Yes.
Anderson.
Yes.
Vogel.
Yes.
Sarchet.
Yes.
Walters.
Yes.
Item I is the optional waive the second and third reading, and I'll ask for a motion.
So, second.
Any comment from anyone?
Just,
No.
not always something that's good practice, but for the reasons Chelsea alluded to earlier.
Okay, so we'll call the roll, please.
Sarchet.
Yes.
Walters.
Yes.
Dvorak.
Yes.
Anderson.
Yes.
Yes.
Item B, amendment number 1 to engineering services agreement with Snyder and Associates in the amount of $94,100 for the North 3rd Street and Vista Lake Avenue intersection improvements project. Motion, please.
So moved. Second.
Call the roll, or any questions, comments? Call the roll, please.
Dvorak.
Yes.
Anderson.
Yes.
Vogel.
Yes.
Sarchet.
Yes.
Walters.
Abstain.
Item C, Snyder and Associates Engineering Services invoice for December services in the amount of $23,926.20.
Second.
Call the roll, please.
Vogel.
Yes.
Sarchet.
Yes.
Walters.
Abstain.
Dvorak.
Yes.
Anderson.
Yes.
Item number 9, reports and particulars. I guess we'll begin with staff.
I just have one thing, Mayor. I was just going to let you guys know I was selected to attend the FBI National Command Course this May. It's a week-long course out of Fredericksburg, Virginia. Basically, it's a command leadership course they offer for chiefs throughout the United States.
Congratulations.
Congrats.
You get the cool FBI jacket.
I don't know.
He already has it.
Get two.
So Jeremy, is that something that you apply to, or they come to you and? you
Yeah,
have
I
to be-
applied for it.
It's not something that everybody can go if you pay the money, right? You have to be,
Yeah, you have to be
Yeah.
selected. So
congrats, yeah, that's great.
this session, I'll be one of about 40 attendees.
Nationwide?
Yep.
Wow. Good for you.
Nice work.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Anything from council members to add?
Good job there. The event there at the library. Jamie did a good job. Bridget, good job. Everyone else that volunteered for the that Build-A-Bear event. I know my kids enjoyed it. How many people did you have come through?
110 kids.
It's awesome. It was a nice event for Valentine's.
Anyone? I do have something to comment on. I was very pleased to be invited to speak to Cub Scout Pack 89 yesterday, and they are working on their adventure badge called Building a Better World. And they had excellent questions about what a mayor does and all about city leadership. So I really enjoyed that and encourage anybody when they have a chance to speak to groups like that. The next thing I'll do, and she doesn't know this, but my wife Diarlis is here, and I just wanted to publicly thank her for her support for my role here as mayor. So thank you, and happy Valentine's Day. So if there's nothing else from anyone else,
Chief Mitchell might have something.
Chief?
Oh, I've got actually a couple things. One is I'm sad to inform you that our deputy chief, Tyler Rommel, resigned after 12 years of service. So if you see him about, please thank him for his service. He'll be missed. And then I was approved to go to Maryland to be a grant reader for the SAFER grant, which is a grant that we've tried to apply for in the past, and this will give us an opportunity to actually get to read other people's grants and see what passes and what doesn't. So hopefully that helps us in the future. So that's in March. So I'm looking forward to going up there and being part of that program.
Congrats. So,
and my apologies for not giving you the opportunity to say that during the staff portion. We moved on very, very fast. So the next item on our agenda is adjournment, and I'll take a motion.
I'll move.
Second.
That's two, you guys are flipping.
And all in favor, we don't need roll for this, do we? All in favor, say aye.